What's going on, everybody? This is the Father-Son Fantasy Football Podcast. And to start off, we're going to let you know to leave a like rating on YouTube, write a 5-star review for us on iTunes, and check us out on Google Play too. And we're coming to Spotify soon. Today's episode, we're going to be doing the quarterbacks. My dad's here with me. Say hi.
Hello, everybody. It's Paul.
Yeah, that's him. And so, first thing we're going to do today is we're going to read our reviews. We got a review on iTunes. And this is from Bryce Baker. He said, really enjoyable podcast. Father-son dynamic makes it enjoyable and relatable, and also provides some laughs. Looking forward to more episodes as we get closer to the season.
Which we will.
5-star review. We thank you. Once again, if you leave us a 5-star review, we will read it at the start of the next episode, and we will read it out, shout you out the podcast. It's pretty cool. Yep. And also, we are on Twitter. My Twitter is @JustinFSFF, and then our page Twitter is Father-Son FF.
Thank you for the reviews. They're very important to us.
Yeah, interactions are big things. Just follow us on Twitter, tweet us questions you have. We'll bring those up next episode. And before we get into the quarterbacks today, we're going to start with two big stories that happened in our last episode. First thing, Hunter Henry out for the season. Torn ACL.
Bad loss for Rivers. Bad loss.
Yeah, it hurts him a little bit, which we're going to talk about later. We'll see you next steps up the plate. And then following that, today is May 29th. Brandon Marshall signs a deal with the Seahawks.
That should help Wilson out a little bit, maybe.
Jimmy Graham's gone. The people are thinking that he's going to go right to the red zone targets and all that. I don't think he is, in my personal opinion, because he's not that good. I really don't like Brandon Marshall.
Another head case, but...
Head case. They didn't upgrade their offensive line. They upgraded. That's what the Giants did. Look what happened to him. They didn't do it. Right. It's just not... I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Brandon Marshall signing there, and I don't think he's going to have any fantasy value. People right now are thinking that he's going to be the guy in the red zone. I don't see it. I don't know. Jimmy Graham had 7 touchdowns from 4 yards or closer last season and 4 from 1 or 2 yards out, and it's not going to go to Brandon Marshall. I think it's going to go to Rashad Penny this year. So that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle's offensive line, I think they were worse than the Giants' offensive line last year. They're horrible.
They didn't upgrade it. The Giants, same thing. They signed Marshall last year trying to help their offense, but they didn't upgrade their offensive line, and look what happened.
Yep.
Not good. All right. So we're going to kick it off. Our quarterbacks now. We're going to do an average of our rankings.
Just keep in mind, this is early season rankings. It's early to tell, but this is our opinion on who we like and where we like them.
Also, before we get started on this, YouTube comments. We appreciate you guys commenting. We love the feedback. And yes, I get some of you guys are going to argue with our opinions, but once again, it's just our thoughts, and that's what makes fantasy football different. Everyone has their own opinion on each player, and that's what makes people draft different teams, and not everyone has the same team.
That's right.
So you could say, oh, we're way off about one player, but this is what we think. This is why we think that, and you are free to argue. We love the arguments. We like to see people interact with other people, not just us interacting with people. That way you guys can get a feel for what other people also think. But we love the interaction. We'll try to get back to you in the comments as much as possible. So keep commenting away and tweeting us questions. We love it.
Throughout the season, we're going to have some more interactions. We're going to have some guests. Early on. It's going to be good.
All right, so first up, our average first quarterback is Aaron Rodgers. I have him at 2. Dad, what do you have him at?
I have him at number 1.
Yeah, I have him at 2. So I'm going to have you go first since you have him higher.
I mean, he's remarkably the best quarterback in the pocket and outside the pocket. He's the best in the league at both of them. One major change that they have this year is Jordy Nelson's gone, but Devontae Adams, I think, will fill that spot just as good, if not better, than Jordy Nelson. Randall Cobb's still there, and they got Jimmy Graham in there. And you already know I love Jimmy Graham.
I don't love Jimmy Graham as much as you, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers has been a top 2 QB for 7 out of his 8 healthy seasons. Yep. He's always supported 2 top 24 wide receivers. I don't see why Cobb, and Adams can't do that. And now Jimmy Graham definitely helps out. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best. If he stays healthy, I wouldn't see anything less. Top 2, guaranteed. I have him at 2. You have him at 1.
Still one of the best QBs in football right now.
Oh, yeah, 100%. All right. Next up, I have this guy at my number 1. Dad, you have him at your number 3.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Let me
He's
just
my
say,
number 1 quarterback.
Let me just say something about Russell Wilson. I made a bet last year. I took Matt Ryan in a 2-quarterback league. And I made a bet with Bart. I know you're out there, Bart. I know you're listening.
He's one of the guys in our league.
We made a bet. He took Russell Wilson, and I told him that Matt Ryan would have a better year than Russell Wilson. Boy, was I ever wrong on that one.
What did you lose in that bet?
I owe him a round of golf, and I will pay you, Bart. I will pay you.
Now, I agreed with Bart in that one because I don't know why you're so high on Matt Ryan, but understandable. He had a great season the year
when we
before.
get to him, I'll tell you.
Yeah. And Russell Wilson. The reason why I have him number one, I'll tell you why. Seahawks defense isn't that good. They're not going to make games low scoring. That means they're always going to be behind high scoring games, and especially against the Rams and 49ers, who they played twice. And last season, he accounted for 98% of the Seahawks' offensive touchdowns last year. There's not a QB in the league who does more with less. He gives you rushing points too. He averaged 34 yards a game. That's 3.4 points right there. And it's every year he just always does what he's going to do. So
where did he finish last year?
I believe he was number 3. I'll have to check.
I thought he was 2. Anyway, their offensive line last year was horrible. He still had 34 touchdowns, 11 picks. He ran for almost 600 yards. I believe as long as he's on the field, he's still going to put up big numbers. He could also be the front runner this year for MVP. I mean, he was really good last year. A couple guys were a little better, but
Russell Wilson, 6-point pass touchdown leagues, finished number 1 overall.
Yeah, number 1. All right,
he's terrific.
He could be the front runner for MVP.
I think he's going to be great this year. I love him. That's why he's my number 1 quarterback. However, I don't think I'm going to get him in any leagues this year. Maybe the 2-quarterback league, because right now his ADP is way too high for me. And my strategy with quarterbacks is to wait on him.
Well, so I do the same thing unless you're in a 2-quarterback league. If you're in a 1-quarterback league, these top 4 guys that we have, I'm staying away from because I don't like to draft the quarterback early. But in a 2-team quarterback,
Wilson's going in
might
the
reach
4th round, 10th pick in 12-team leagues. I would if I take quarterback early, if that's what you like to do, I recommend taking Wilson.
Right.
So, next up, our average at 2.5 is Tom Brady. You have him at 2. I have him at 3. There's not much to say. He's older, but he's not slowing down.
No.
Super Bowl, he had 505 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's crazy.
He's 40 years old. I don't see any signs of his level of play. They shouldn't be the same this year.
No, he's great.
He's still gonna,
offense is high-powered.
Even Cooks is gone, but I think Hogan will do just fine in that spot. He's still got Edelman, Gronk, and they signed Jordan Matthews.
Sonny Michel. James White, pass catcher. He's consistent. He's really good.
He's right up there with Rodgers. I mean, no one in NFL history has accomplished more than him, and I still expect him to do the same even at 40 years old.
He's great.
He is.
So next up, we both have him at 4. That is Cam Newton.
I'm not a big fan of Cam Newton, but I mean, he's still ranked up there because of his running ability. I mean, there's no other quarterback like him. I don't think he has great arm strength, and he's built like a fullback. I mean.
He has the most rushing attempts by a QB per game. He's his better weapons this year is DJ Moore, who they drafted in the 1st round. I think he's top 5 again. In 2017, Cam Newton rushed for more yards than Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Stewart, DeMarco Murray, Kenyon Drake, Tevin Coleman, Joe Mixon, Christian McCaffrey, Jerick McKinnon, Jay Ajayi, Amir Abdullah, Jamal Williams, Aaron Jones, Samaje Perine, many more. He's great. He gives you all those rushing points. That's points right there in fantasy. It's 1 point for every 10 yards rather than the quarterback, which is either 1 point for every 20 yards or 25 yards. I think it's great.
I think his rushing ability, he had 6 rushing touchdowns. I think he had a higher percentage of great games, which could have won your fantasy for that week. Some games he was completely a bust, but I still think he finished 2 or 3, if I'm not mistaken, on the year.
He's great, yeah. He's terrific. Last season he finished.
I think he was up there.
He finished as.
He had 22 touchdowns. He did throw 16 interceptions, but still.
He was the 10th quarterback last year in 6-point pass touchdowns. Regardless, he didn't finish that far apart in points per game. So, he's great. Gets those rushing points. So, next up, we have Deshaun Watson. Dad, where do you have him at? He's your 5th quarterback.
He's my 5th quarterback.
He is my 8th quarterback, so I'm going to have you go first.
No, I mean, there's great upside value with him. I mean, if you ain't taking one of the top 4, he's on my list, but I don't know if I would. In a 2-quarterback league, he's definitely on my list. He's ahead of his schedule for his rehab.
Let me say one thing before you keep going about how good he is. He's currently going as his 2nd quarterback off the board.
They're taking him
which
2
is
and 3.
Problem. Yeah,
2 and 3.
I don't like that.
Well, his upside is unbelievable. I believe he had 18 touchdowns in 6 games last year before he got hurt. If he's back healthy, his upside is off the charts, especially where he was in fantasy last year before he got hurt.
Yeah, he missed 9 games last year and finishes the quarterback 26, which is 168.8 fantasy points, 24.1 per game. And if you assume he plays 16 games at that pace, he would have finished as the QB1 with over 384 points. That is 40 fantasy points more than Russell Wilson and almost 90 more points than Cam Newton and Tom Brady. I think obviously you're going to see some regression this year because it's like almost unstable to keep that up. It's crazy, but still, he's going to be a great quarterback. He's got DeAndre Hopkins.
If he's healthy, I love him. I love him if he can stay healthy.
I mean, he's going to keep that pace up, but he's still going to be a great quarterback.
He's going to put up some points. I mean, he's that good.
I have him at 8, but I'm okay with you guys taking him like over the people I have ahead of him. So next up is Carson Wentz, also injured last year. I'm going to go first here. Among 46 quarterbacks to have 6% pass touchdown rate or higher in a single season, since 2000, 0 QBs increased their pass touchdown percentage the following year. So it's probably some regression because last year Watson had 9.3%, Wentz had 7.5%. But still, he's consistent. He's got a great coach, great offense, and a lot of weapons. Nelson Aguilar still there, Alshon Jeffrey. You got Ajayi who can catch, Corey Clement who can catch, Zach Ertz. And their coach is great. The scheme's great.
He's got a lot of weapons. You had him as what, 5th?
I had him as my number 5 quarterback, yes.
I have him as 8th. I mean, he was having a great year last year before he got hurt. He might be less aggressive this year after his injury, but he's a great passer. The offensive line is good, and like Justin said, he's got weapons. I don't think he's going to play in the preseason. He might not be ready for the season opener.
His goal is to be ready by week 1.
Yeah, I don't know. That might not happen. Just keep it in the back of your mind. That might not happen. Foles might play.
Yeah.
Today, he might not be ready.
News came out today saying he was jogging without a hitch.
That's the news today.
But,
when preseason starts...
He's not going to play, but his goal is week 1. And if he gets back week 1, I'd start him.
I mean, I had him last year. He did great for me until he got hurt.
I still draft him and pick up like later QB in later rounds and start him week 1. You're fine with that.
I lost my fantasy when he got hurt.
Yeah, he hurt me last year too. It's all right. Next up on the board is our guy, Kirk Cousins. Like I said in the episode 2 episodes ago, he has 2 top 15, 20 wide receivers, top 10 tight end, and Dalvin Cook. And you get a discount because people will draft about 7 to 8 quarterbacks in front of him. Yes, there's less volume in the offense, but that means more efficiency. I absolutely love him this year, and I already talked about him in the episode before. They're ranked 9th in the NFL in touchdowns per game. The Vikings last season, 2.4, and it's going to be better with Kirk Cousins than it is with Case Keenum. So, go for what you got to say about him.
I love that he went to Minnesota because he's got a ton of weapons there. Probably, if not the best offensive line in football.
One of them, yes.
He's probably not going to be forced to air it out like he did in Washington.
No.
Because of all the weapons. And the defense won't give up a lot of points. So I think he's going to have some good fantasy games. I think he's going to be good.
He's going to be good. All right. Next up, we have Drew Brees. As you like to always say around the house a couple years ago when you had him, Drew Brees. We love Drew Brees.
I got him ranked 6th. What do you have him?
I have him ranked 7th.
7th.
So I'm going to go first. I think this year he's due for a positive regression in touchdowns. He had 23 last year. That's pretty low for him. I think this year he's going to have back up 30+. He's got Michael Thomas, really consistent, who also is due for positive regression in touchdowns. Cameron Meredith he added this year. Traquan Smith, the rookie, who I love. Alvin Kamara. Mark Ingram when he comes back from suspension. He's a really efficient passer. Always was, always is. I think this is the year he bounces back. And I think he's going to be great this year. So
I think he's going to bounce back too. I mean, even he's been a top 10 QB every year. There were weeks in fantasy last year his numbers weren't that good because, like Justin said, his lack of touchdowns. But that's because they have a great running game. I think 4 times last year he finished as a top 12 quarterback on a week-to-week basis.
that's not bad.
Even Kaiser had 7 games. Kaiser had more games higher than Drew Brees did.
That's crazy.
But that's because of his touchdown. He didn't throw a lot of touchdowns. Now, I think it's going to be better this year because Ingram is out for 4 games. And Kamara's, they're not going to use him as a running horse. So Brees, I think, is going to throw a little more. I think he's going to have a better year this year than he did last year.
That's good insight. All right, next up, we have Big Ben on the list. Ben Roethlisberger, Pittsburgh Steelers. They lost Todd Haley, their offensive coordinator, but I don't think that's going to change up that much. I think, obviously, they may throw a little less, but you still have Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, James Washington out of Oklahoma State. Vance McDonald, I like him as a tight end. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but he's still a good receiving option. Le'Veon Bell, too. He can catch the ball. There's fantasy points in this offense to be had. I believe that Brown's going to be top 24, obviously, probably top 2.
Well,
and I think Juju's going to push for top 24.
Juju's going to be very good this year.
History says that Big Ben can't support 2 top 24 wide receivers, but I think it's different because he's never had 2 good ones. I think Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be a top 24.
I got him as 11th. You have him as what?
I have Big Ben as number 9. That's close enough. Like, there's a little disagreement there, but it's fine.
Well, the first half of last year, he was very poor for fantasy value. But after the bye, the second half of the season, he was fantastic. His numbers were so good after the bye last year. And he's still Big Ben. He's still going to put up numbers.
He's going as the 12th quarterback off the board right now. I agree
with that because I have him at 11th.
Yes.
I like a couple guys ahead of him.
All right, next up, Matthew Stafford. What do you got to say about Matthew Stafford, Dad?
I got him as 10th ranked. I think between him and Phillip Rivers, they're about the same. I would be happy with either one of them in that spot. I mean, you know what you're getting from him. It's at least 4,000 yards a year.
No, I definitely prefer Matthew Stafford over Phillip Rivers. We'll get into that soon. But right now, Rivers is a higher price than Stafford. Stafford's going as 15th quarterback off the board. I think that's insane. He's always top 10.
Yeah.
Very consistent, great value. I don't know why people don't like drafting him. He's like an ugly name apparently, but like, hey, I'll wait on a quarterback. I'll take him. I'm happy with him.
Him and Rivers, a lot of people.
Yeah.
If you're waiting on him, you're getting a good quarterback at the value.
You got Golden Tate, Marvin Jones.
Oh yeah.
And you got Kerryon Johnson, Theo Riddick. That's
only thing that scares me with Stafford a little bit, and that wouldn't stop me from drafting him, is that now they got a goal line back and Blunt. Will that take something away from Stafford? Maybe.
He gets those goal line rush touchdowns sometimes. Just to hop over the middle.
I mean, he's still top 10 last 3 years.
Very consistent.
And I love Marvin Jones, and I like Stafford.
He's like matchup proof, basically. You can put him in lineup, not be worried about him not having a dud. He always has a good game.
Right.
He's a great fourth quarter quarterback, too. Their defense isn't that great, so he always has those comebacks.
He's another guy good for over 4,000 yards a game. I mean, he had 29 touchdowns last year, and he only threw 10 interceptions, which is pretty good for him.
That's not bad. All right, next up. You got you like way more than I do. Phillip Rivers, I have him at 16. You have him at 10.
I have
or 9. 9. Wow, that's a big difference right there.
Come on, he threw for 4,500 yards last year, 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
There's just other guys.
How can you have him ranked that low?
I'm not saying I don't like him. I'm saying like other guys more than him. Like he's very consistent, just like Matthew Stafford, like we were saying. But I personally just rather have other players than him.
I like him a little better than Stafford because he has better weapons than Stafford has.
That's true. I mean,
His
Hunter Henry hurts him.
Yeah, that hurts him now. Yes, that does.
So I don't know how I feel about that.
He's got Gordon out of the backfield.
I don't see the same
Allen.
ceiling, though. I don't see the same ceiling. I love Keenan Allen more now, but I just don't. I don't know.
I'm upset Hunter Henry got hurt.
He's still likely going to hit 4,000 yards and maybe around 30 touchdowns, but the volume won't be as much with this tough loss. Like I feel very bad for him. It's unfortunate. Injuries always suck.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I have him at 16. You have him at 9. Like I wouldn't have anyone taking a problem with taking him. Like I think he's a great quarterback.
I'd still take him. Look out for Mike Williams. I think Mike Williams is going to have a good year.
That was your guy last year. He's back healthy, so
I think he's going to have a good year this year.
I'll get into that some of that other episode.
It's just sad that Henry's hurt.
He was 8th in passer rating to running backs in 2017, so Melvin Gordon's a good hand. Like,
yes, he is. Melvin Gordon's good out of the backfield.
You like Melvin Gordon?
I do like Melvin Gordon.
We do. Yeah, we'll talk about that next episode. All right. Now, next up, a guy you don't even have ranked, but he's my number 11 quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City. I want to hear why you don't like him. I think this year he's great. He's going late.
I don't like him. I'm not picking him.
People right now, when I'm looking on Twitter and stuff, they either love him, it's like top 12, or they rather say, you know what, I'm not touching him. You're not touching him.
I'm not touching him.
It's a disagreement right here.
I'm not touching him.
I love him.
Tell me why you love him.
Tell you why I love him.
He's only thrown in one or two games.
No, they got rid of.
All right, let me have it. Let me have it.
He's going as an 18th quarterback right now, which is perfect. I have him number 11. They got rid of Alex Smith because they felt confident in this guy. Tyreek Hill was 8th in yards per target of all wide receivers with at least 150 targets since 2000. Sammy Watkins was 29th. Travis Kelce was only behind Gronk in yards per target at tight end. This offense is made up of efficient talents who can stretch the field. Their defense isn't that good, which means they're going to be behind. You have Hunt, who's a good pass catcher. It's young and explosive. I think it's going to be great. Either we're too high on all the other people on this offense, like Kelce, Hunt, Tyreek Hill, and Sammy Watkins, or we're way too low on Mahomes or something like that.
What do you know about Mahomes' throwing ability?
Nothing, but I think
anything.
He's going to be decent. He's got good weapons. The coach, Andy Reid's great. I think that he's going to be a top 12 quarterback this year. I'm loving taking him late. I'm okay with him as my starting quarterback.
Wow.
Yes, it's a bold statement right there. You don't like that, but that's what I think.
All right, I hope I play you for 12 weeks.
All right, next up, Jimmy G. You have him at 12. I have him at 14. What do you guys say about Jimmy G?
I mean, he was great the last 5 games of last season. He proved he's ready to take this team to the next level.
It's another thing I got to say there, small sample size, but keep going.
That's impressive numbers, what he did at the end of last year. I mean, I believe he's going to get better. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him, though, after those last 5 games, that's for sure. I like him. I like him where he is.
He's not bad. I think he's overrated.
Well,
personally, he's going as the 9th quarterback right now. That's a little too high for me. I'd rather have Phillip Rivers, Matthew Stafford.
Well,
I have Rivers a little low, but if I'm picking there, I don't know. Jimmy G was great last couple games, like you said, but I don't see it keeping up for 16 games. He's got McKinnon, who's a good pass catching running back. Same guys, Goodwin, Carson. And you got Kittle as a tight end.
Yeah, I think he'll do okay.
See.
He's in the middle of the pack.
Yeah. And next up, we have Jameis Winston. I have him at 13. You don't even have him in your top 12.
No, I'm not a Jameis Winston fan.
Yeah, see, I am.
Too erratic.
Too erratic? I don't know about that.
Why do you like him?
He's actually on his way to living up to the hype last season before injuries derailed the season. I think he gets there in 2018. He's got a lot of options this year, but it makes it difficult for me to buy Mike Evans at the wide receiver 8 price. He's going later than he should right now. He's going as 20th quarterback off the board. Another great value. I love him late. I'm okay with taking him. Mahomes late. That's why I wait on quarterback. It's my strategy, but I don't have a problem with people taking quarterbacks early.
I would take him over Mahomes.
Yeah, I would not, but hey, I like either or of those. If I'm sitting there with those two, I'm probably taking Mahomes. I may take Winston turn to play matchups, but I don't know. I like Mahomes a lot this year, so I gotta go with my gut right there.
All right.
Next up, Alex Smith.
Oh no, I don't like it where Alex Smith.
Oh, we went over this 2 episodes ago.
I think he's gonna struggle in Washington.
No,
he doesn't have Hill, he doesn't have Kels, and he doesn't have Hunt.
Chris Thompson is a great safety value. We only played 10 games last year. Alex Smith, Gruden, like I said, Gruden likes to take deep shots.
I think Alex Smith's going to struggle.
And one person in the comments was arguing with me about saying how he's not a great deep ball passer. But last year, he had the highest percentage of deep balls thrown. It's a different offense than the Chiefs were. They don't like to throw it short anymore. They had Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins who were going to stretch the field out. He was hitting Tyreek Hill deep. Everyone was shocked in the first game against the Patriots last year when he hit that deep ball to Tyreek Hill. They didn't know they could throw like that. He's thrown like that. It's a new offense. It's not the old Chiefs. He throws the ball deep.
You just said who he was throwing to. Well, he's not throwing to them anymore.
No, he's got.
I don't like it.
Jamison Crowder.
I don't like where he is this year.
Jamison Crowder, Paul Richardson, who's really good at catching the deep ball, like I said.
Not the same.
They have a below-average defense. They're going to be down a lot. Chris Thompson's a great pass-catching back. You can't deny that. You can't deny that.
He's not on my radar.
Oh, he's on my radar. Another guy who's going 21st quarterback, who I also love late. It's probably him, Winston, and Mahomes. Those guys late. I love them. Love, love, love.
Okay.
And we got 2 more guys we're going to talk about, Marcus Mariota and Andrew Luck. We're going to start with Mariota. He's always pretty good. He's going right now as where is this guy? 19th quarterback off the board. That's another guy great late. He's always great in the red zone. He's got decent weapons. Corey Davis, Tyron Taylor, Deion Lewis, Derrick Henry, Delaney Walker. He's always consistent.
Yeah, he's a consistent quarterback.
He's a good quarterback. I like him late, too, if you're going to weigh in on quarterbacks.
Nah, I don't have much to say on him.
Not much to say on him. All right, now, Andrew Luck. I hate Andrew Luck. He hurt me last year, but I can't judge it off past experience, but he still has not touched the football.
I hate him and I love him. I don't know what to do with him. I'm scared to draft him because of the fear of the unknown. He hasn't thrown a football in 2 years.
I don't think he's going to touch a football in 2020. At this rate.
I think if you see him throwing a ball in preseason, you could get him at a great value. But I believe if he plays, he could be a top 10 QB. But I don't know if he's going to play.
Right now, it's late May, almost early June, and he has not touched football. That's why I don't have him in my top 15 right now. I think I have to wait to see when he throws the ball.
I would take Luck over them last 2 guys you said.
Oh, my gosh. You get to go ahead and take Luck.
If he starts throwing the ball in preseason, he better be on your radar.
That changes things. I also say I'll probably move up a little more, but he has not touched the football.
I understand. I agree with you 100% on that.
It's disgusting.
A fear of the unknown. I don't know what he's going to do, but if you see him playing in preseason, I said.
If he plays, he's got Marlon Mack, Naheem Hines, a great pass catcher. He's got T.Y. Hilton. He's also got Jack Doyle and Eric Ebron this year. That's some good weapons. So if he does play, I think he's got weapons to do another good fantasy season. But right now, again, has not even thrown a football.
Right.
All right. And any more guys you like late? Weird.
I still like where Matt Ryan is this year. Sorry, Bart, but we're going to make another bet
Matt Ryan's 14th.
I don't know what it's going to be.
I was gonna say,
he's going to have a bounce-back year. Look, last year his touchdowns were terrible. He only had 20. I had him, okay? He only had 20 touchdowns. That hurt me.
He's going behind
The year before, he had 38 touchdowns.
Wow.
Julio Jones, I think, caught touchdowns, I believe, in 2 games.
I would also like to say
that's it.
Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator in that good season. He's on the 49ers right now. That's a big thing.
Yeah. Well, he's got elite weapons. I expect
Ryan
to.
I think it's the same as last year.
Do better than
a little
last
better.
Year.
I think positive touchdown regression is possible. And definitely going to happen. Jared Goff is going as 10th quarterback off the board right now. It's a little high for me. He has no more Watkins. He has Brandon Cooks this year.
He has Cooks. Cooks is going to be good.
Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Lance Kendricks is a tight end. He's got Todd Gurley.
He had 28 touchdowns last year, 7 interceptions. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
He had just under 4,000 yards. He led the Rams to the first winning season since 2003. He's a good QB. I think he'll do better this year than he did last year.
Really? I don't know if he's going to do as good. I think he's in a little bit regression. Todd Gurley's going to be more of a pass catcher.
I have him like around I have him like my 13th quarterback.
Yeah, I have him around 15, 16, I guess, with those guys like him, Rivers, Mariota. But he's going as 10th quarterback right now. It's a little high for me. I don't know how I feel about him. Other guys we didn't really touch on, and I can't. Derek Carr, Dak Prescott. I'm not really interested in them that much. I'd rather have Mahomes, Mariota, Winston, and Smith. Case Keenum, we talked about 2 episodes ago. He has the weapons, but maybe if we're going really late in 2 quarterback leagues, I like him a lot. But then again, everything we talk about in this episode is for redraft 2018. Doesn't matter for 6-point touchdowns or 4-point touchdowns. Right. Doesn't really matter to quarterbacks. Right. They're all the same with the rankings and stuff like that.
Like I said, they're just our opinions, just where we like them.
Yes.
And you see, we have big differences, just as you guys will. But
so leave us comments about what you think about this episode and what you think about quarterbacks we have wrong.
Make sure you hit that like button.
Comment on YouTube. We really want to emphasize the iTunes podcast store and Google Play. That's where we're a podcast, not a YouTube channel. We're just posting on YouTube to get more views and more interaction and hit more population. But iTunes is our main thing, so go subscribe to us on iTunes. Turn automatic downloads on. Leave us a 5-star review. We will shout you out at the beginning of next episode. Again, we're also on Twitter at JustinFSFF, and the podcast page Twitter is FatherSonFF. Follow us, tweet us questions, interact with us.
Anything you want to tell us, leave a note in the comment section.
We read comments. We're always active on there. We like it when you guys interact. It's what we're trying to pride ourselves on. This is our QB episode. Next episode is going to be our running backs episode, part 1. We're going to do the top 12. Then we'll have a part 2 to that, which is our 12 to 24. And we'll give you some late sleepers in that one. We're going to probably have a lot more arguments in that one because quarterbacks are almost always the same. But running backs, I know we like different guys, so we're going to have to
be different.
Very diverse. And once again, thanks for listening, guys. We're on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Subscribe, like it, leave us a review. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for listening.